Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel GSIPUC Mysuru. This is session 19 of chapter 2, which is Principles of Electricity, Network Theorems and AC Principles. In this session, we will be learning about AC principles, and before learning the concepts of AC principles or the topics related to AC principles, we will be recalling some of the concepts or the topics related to circular motion. By looking into the topics of circular motion, it would be easy for us to learn about AC principles. So, let me begin. The picture I have drawn here is representing circular motion of an object. Initially, it was at a position P and it has moved to a position P dash. So, the angle covered by the object is theta. These things we have learnt in our mathematics in high school. So, if r is the radius of the circular motion and the object also covered a distance r on the circumference, then the angle which is covered is nearly going to be equal to 57 degree, and this 57 degree in SI units is called as 1 radian. We have learnt about SI units in the physics chapter of units and measurements. Theta is measured in radians and not in degrees in SI or in SI units. And how you define radian? The angle covered by the object is said to be 1 radian if the distance travelled on the circumference is equal to the radius of the circular motion. So, therefore, theta is equal to 1 radian. If the object covers the entire distance or the entire circumference, then what is the angle covered? If the same object has travelled one complete circle, then you know the angle covered is going to be equal to 360 degree. This is in degrees. Now, if I have to tell in radians, so how will I know it? We know the circumference of the circle is given by 2 pi into r, where r is the radius of the circular motion. So, if the object has covered one complete circle, then in terms of radians, so it is going to be equal to now 2 pi radians. So, the object has covered an angle of 2 pi radians. Now, let me go to the next term, which is angular speed, and this angular speed is represented by omega. What is angular speed? We know speed. So, speed is given by distance travelled by time taken or the rate of distance travelled. Similarly, angular speed would be the angle covered by time taken to cover the angle. In simple terms, I can write this as theta divided by t, where theta represents the angle covered and t represents the time taken to cover that angle. On rearranging, and write theta is equal to omega into t. This formula would help us while I am learning about AC. Now, let me take an example. Suppose the object has completed one circle in 1 second, then it has completed one circle. So, the angle covered will be 2 pi radians in 1 second. So, 2 pi radians per second. Suppose the object has covered 2 cycles in 1 second, then omega would be equal to 2 into 2 pi radians per second. This is nothing but the object covering an angle of 360 degrees per second. Here 360 into 2 is nearly 720 degree per second. So, though the angular speed, instead of measuring in degrees per second, can be measured in radians per second. Similarly, if it covers 3 cycles in 1 second, then angular speed would be 3 times of 2 pi radians per second. What if it has travelled n cycles per second? Then omega would be equal to n times of 2 pi radians per second. Now, this n, the number of cycles completed in 1 second, has another name, and that is frequency. Now, I define the term frequency as the number of cycles completed in unit time, or the number of cycles completed in 1 second, that is called as frequency. And the same angular speed can be represented as omega is equal to 2 pi f. In SI units, it is radians per second. In this formula, f represents frequency, which is number of cycles covered per second. So, this is frequency. We also define one more term, which is time period. And what is time period? Time taken for completing one cycle. And if we perform mathematics, we will see that time period is equal to 1 by frequency. How? Frequency is number of cycles per second. This tells us how many cycles are performed in 1 second itself. And what is time period? Time taken for just one cycle. So, if you rearrange, you will find that time period is equal to 1 by f. Therefore, I can also write angular frequency as 2 pi divided by t. If time period is equal to 1 by frequency, I can also write frequency is equal to 1 by t. This formula also implies frequency is going to be equal to 1 by time period. So, I can also write angular frequency as equal to 2 pi by t. We will recall once again. If an object is in circular motion, if at all it has travelled a distance of r, which is equal to radius of the object, then the angle covered is told to be 1 radian. The same object covers one complete circle, then the angle covered would be equal to 2 pi radians. Next, what about angular frequency, which is the angle covered in 1 second? So, it will be equal to 2 pi f, where f is frequency, that is number of cycles per second. The same angular frequency can also be written as 2 pi by t, where t is time period, which is time taken to complete one cycle. We will proceed further. Let us look into the circular motion once more and learn some mathematics related to it. The object which was initially at P is rotating and it has now reached a position P dash. We have learnt from mathematics the position. If at all I am to draw a graph and take x axis and y axis, the position can be written as P of x comma y, in this case P dash of x comma y. Now, if I draw a perpendicular onto x axis P dash m and a perpendicular onto y axis P dash n, this triangle O P dash m is now a right angle triangle. And from our introductory class of physics, we have learnt about trigonometry. So, we will recall that. Now, this is the radius. OM gives the x coordinate, ON gives the y coordinate. Then, from trigonometry, we have learned the definition for sin theta, which is equal to the opposite divided by hypotenuse. If I consider OP dash m, hypotenuse is nothing but the radius r Opposite in the sense opposite to angle theta. Here this is the angle theta P dash OM. The opposite to P dash OM is nothing but Y. This P dash M is equal to NO, which is Y. So, sin theta will be equal to Y by R. Let me rewrite it. Sin theta is equal to Y by R. I will rearrange for Y. On rearranging for Y, I will get Y is equal to R sin theta. Further, we have learnt earlier theta, which is angle covered, can be written as angular speed into time taken, which is finally Y is equal to R sin omega t. Now, as the object makes circular motion, at every point I can take its projection on x axis, which is nothing but x, and its projection on y axis, which is nothing but y. So, as the object rotates, what happens to the y coordinate, or what happens to the projection on the y axis? We look into an animation here which will help us to understand it better. If you look at the animation, you will see as the object rotates, the projection of y axis makes up, down, further down, back up, and the projection oscillates along the y axis. Let us look into the animation. So, you see there the projection of the circular motion on y axis makes oscillations, which is repeated up and down motions, and the same can also be shown in graph. If I take the time along x axis and y, the variation of y along y axis, then I see initially the projection which was at 0 increases to maximum and again returns to 0, decreases to negative maximum and again comes back to 0, and it repeats. So, graphically the projection of circular motion on y axis shows us that the projection increases to positive maximum. I can take this as positive maximum, comes back to 0, goes to negative maximum, can take it as minus of ym, and again comes back to 0 and it repeats. Today we will see that the equation for the projection on the y axis, the graph of the displacement on y axis versus time, or the projection on y axis versus time, helps us in also defining our today's topic, which is AC principles. So, let me proceed. AC. So, what do you mean by AC? The full form for AC is alternating current. How do you define alternating current or alternating voltage? The alternating current or voltage is the one which changes its magnitude and polarity periodically. So, what does that mean? Remember, we have drawn a graph earlier for y, displacement along the y axis. Similarly, I can also draw a graph of time versus current, and in this case this current is nothing but alternating current. If I draw a graph of current versus time, then I see the current initially which was at 0 comes to a maximum, again reduces to 0 and then reverses its direction to negative maximum and again comes back to 0. So, initially the current had a positive polarity and later we will see that the current would be having negative polarity. The same also implies for alternating voltage. So, this graph tells us that alternating current or voltage changes its magnitude and also polarity periodically. Have you seen this AC? We would have experienced alternating current. How? Where? Look at these pictures. These pictures are the electrical appliances that we use in our home. If you look at the specifications there, it is very clearly mentioned the working voltage of these appliances. It's been mentioned there as 220 volt 50 hertz. If not 220, either 230 or 240. All these appliances work with alternating current. You see there it is been mentioned as AC. So, the power supplied in our home is through alternating current. In all our plug points or the switches what we receive in our home is alternating current, and it is not a direct current, it is an alternating current. Now, what about DC? These pictures show here about DC. They are batteries. On these batteries, the voltage supplied or the EMF supplied there is been mentioned, either 12 volt or 3.7 volt in case of the mobile batteries. If you also see, on batteries it's been mentioned as positive and negative. Whenever we are using a battery, definitely we have to make proper connections. The positive of the battery will have to be connected to the positive terminal of the appliances that we are going to use. The negative of the battery will have to be connected to the negative terminal of the appliances that we use. So, their polarity matters. In DC, the polarity always remains the same, and by telling DC or direct current, the value of the voltage supplied or the current is going to be stable, or it is a constant, whereas it is not the same in AC. There it keeps on changing. Now, what is the source of direct current? We know batteries supply us direct current, but where do we get AC or alternating current from? Well, alternating currents can be got from many instruments like oscillators or function generators and AC generators. The supply, that is the power supplied to us in our home, is being generated in an AC generator. Where do we find AC generator? All the power generating stations, for example hydroelectric power stations or nuclear power stations or thermal power stations or even the windmills. In all these cases, what is there is an AC generator. So, through an AC generator, a AC or an alternating current or an alternating voltage is being generated. So, alternating current is produced mainly in an AC generator. Now, what is this AC generator? So, it is nothing but coil present in between two magnets and which rotates in between two magnets. This AC generator, it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. What is that electromagnetic induction? A coil rotating in an uniform magnetic field generates alternating current or alternating voltage in it. Let us see how this happens. First of all, what is a coil? Just nothing. Take an insulated wire, just wind it. Now, this becomes a coil, and the coil can be of any shape. It can be either circular or rectangular. Generally, in AC generators, the coils are rectangular, and when this rectangular coil rotates in between magnets, we get AC. Let us have a demo of it. We have a model to demonstrate AC generator. If you look at the model here, we have a rectangular coil placed in between two magnetic pieces. So, let us see it. What we have here is an insulated copper wire which is being wound, and this is what is a coil. It is a rectangular coil here, and though these are plastic, inside you have magnetic pieces on both the left hand side and the right hand side. So, when you rotate that coil in between two magnetic pieces, you can see an AC is generated, an alternating current. So, let us see. This model is being made to demonstrate both AC and DC. We will look today into only AC. So, the switch is already been put into AC mode. So, we will see how AC is being generated. Look at the light here. As you rotate the coil, you will see the light switching on and off. See here now. You can see the light switching on and off because AC is generated. As you increase the speed, so you have seen, as you increase the speed, the switching on and off is also more rapid. In this way, rotating a rectangular coil in between two magnetic pieces, we can generate alternating current. We learnt that an alternating current or an alternating voltage is generated in an AC generator. So, this represents the schematic diagram of an AC generator. What does an AC generator contain? There is a rectangular coil. This is the coil whose two ends are connected to two slip rings. These slip rings are further connected to a carbon brush. Across these two carbon brush, we get the AC output. And how is it? How do we get AC output? This coil rotates in a magnetic field. The magnetic field direction is from north to south. It rotates in a clockwise direction. As the coil rotates, the slip rings, we call it as slip rings because they are in contact with the carbon brushes, but they do slip from the carbon brushes. So, as the coil rotates, a AC or an alternating current is generated across the slip rings. From the slip rings, it is connected to carbon brush, and we get the AC output. Now, let us see how this rotation produces alternating current. If you have a plane surface, then according to physics, we draw a area vector A. The area vector is always perpendicular to the surface. So, as this area vector and the magnetic field, the angle between these two, in this diagram it is 90 degree. As this angle between these two changes, there is alternating voltage generated, and this formula tells us how alternating voltage is being generated. Here theta is the angle between the area vector and the magnetic field. Here the picture explains in a very good manner. The AC is given by Vm into sin theta, where theta is angle between the area vector and the magnetic field. So, initially when the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field, there is no EMF in it. As it rotates by 90 degree, the EMF increases from 0 to maximum. So, stage 1, as the coil rotates from 0 degree to 90 degree, the alternating voltage increases from 0 to Vm, which is the maximum value. This is the maximum value. Next, as it further rotates from 90 degree to 180 degree, the AC voltage decreases from maximum to 0. So, stage 2, as the coil rotates from 90 degree to 180 degree, the AC voltage V this time decreases from V maximum to 0. As it further rotates from 180 degree to 270 degree, the AC voltage decreases from 0 to negative maximum. Current now changes from positive to negative, or the voltage changes from positive to negative. So, stage 3, what happens? As the coil rotates from 180 degree to 270 degree, the voltage V now decreases from 0 to negative maximum. The other way I can also tell the voltage changes its polarity from positive to negative. Next, the coil rotates from 270 degree and back again to the same initial position, which is 360 degree or 0 degree. Now what happens? The AC voltage increases from negative maximum to 0. So, as the coil rotates from 270 degree to 360 degree, the voltage now increases from negative maximum to 0 and the process continues. So, in this manner an AC voltage is generated in an AC generator. The details of AC generation or the principle of electromagnetic induction is very well defined in your second PUC physics. There you have this picture which shows the variation of alternating voltage as the coil rotates in a magnetic field. The same was been shown earlier. Now, let us look into the graphical and mathematical representation of alternating current and alternating voltage. Alternating current is represented by small I. The instantaneous value is I is equal to I maximum into sine of omega t. So, this represents an alternating current. Graphically, the same can be shown. This is the graphical representation of alternating current, where you have taken the instantaneous value of the current along y axis and time along x axis. As time proceeds, the value of the alternating voltage increases from 0 to positive maximum, and the maximum value here is plus I subscript m. Further, as time proceeds further, the current value decreases from maximum to 0, and as time proceeds further, it decreases from 0 to negative maximum, and this is minus of the maximum value of current, and further it increases from negative maximum to 0 and it further continues. So, in this way alternating current changes its magnitude as well as polarity with time. The time taken for one complete cycle, which is one positive and one negative value, is represented by capital T, which is the time period. So, half of this is half of time period, and this will be 1/4 of the time period, and this will be 3/4 of the time period. Now, similarly, alternating voltage can be represented by V is equal to V subscript m into sine of omega t. Let me take this as equation 2. Alternating current and voltage is generally represented by small letter I and small letter v. In both these equations, I subscript m or V subscript m, they are called as the maximum value, or the other name being peak value of the alternating current or the alternating voltage. And omega, we have learned this omega, it is nothing but angular speed. In case of circular motion, we generally consider angular speed. In case of AC, where there is change in cycle, we can more rightly mention it as angular frequency, and this is equal to, as already mentioned, 2 pi f, where f is frequency of the AC current or of the AC voltage. In our home, the power supplied is changing its polarity 50 times per second, so its frequency is 50 hertz. Further, omega into t can simply be written as theta, and this theta is called as the phase angle. So, this is everything about the mathematical representation of alternating current or alternating voltage. We will look into some of the basic terms used in mentioning alternating current or alternating voltage. Let us begin. The first term is one cycle or a cycle. So, what does one cycle mean? One positive and one negative peaks together constitute one cycle. So, I can write this as one complete set of the positive and negative values of AC make one cycle. So, this is about one cycle. Next, time period. We have learned this even in our circular motion. The same definition is applicable even here. So, time period is time taken to complete one cycle. So, the time taken to complete one positive and one negative complete cycles is what is called as time period, and here time period is measured in seconds. The SI unit for measuring time period is seconds. We have learnt about the SI units in our chapter units and measurements. Third one, frequency. Frequency represented by small f. So, what is it? Number of cycles completed in 1 second is what is frequency. Number of cycles completed in 1 second is called as frequency. And how do you measure frequency? Frequency is measured in the SI unit for frequency is hertz. It is hertz in symbols. It is represented by capital H, small z. We have already learnt also the relation between the frequency and time period. Further, we can write the relation between these two. Also, frequency is equal to 1 by time period. Time period is measured in seconds. So, 1 by second is nothing but second inverse. So, this is measured in second inverse, or the same second inverse is called as hertz. So, frequency is 1 by time period and it is measured in hertz. The next term is peak value. If not peak value, the maximum value or the amplitude. What is this? This is the magnitude of the maximum value reached either in the positive cycle or the negative cycle. The next term being peak to peak value. What is peak to peak value? If you look at the AC signal, the difference between the positive peak and the negative peak values will give us the peak to peak value. So, peak to peak value is defined as it is the difference between the positive maximum and the negative maximum of the AC voltage or the AC current. So, PPP, if you measure the difference, it can be taken as plus Vp minus of minus Vp, the difference between these two. So, this will give you plus Vp which is 2 times of the peak value. If not peak value, the maximum value. We have learnt writing this as plus V maximum and minus V maximum, taking the same notations. This peak to peak value would be 2 times of the maximum value. Similarly, we can write peak to peak for alternating current. The peak to peak value of current can be written as 2 times of the maximum value. We will proceed further. Next, we will look into what do you mean by RMS value of alternating current. When you look into the pictures of the electrical appliances, the operating voltage is been mentioned there, which is 220 volts. If not 220, either 230 or 240 volts. What does that mean? Is it the peak value of the voltage? No, definitely not. It is not the peak value of the voltage, but the other name for it is the DC equivalent. So, what is the DC equivalent? If you consider a water heater, so we know that when an alternating current is being passed through it, or when we switch it on in our home, the coil of the heater gets heated up. So, what amount of DC current will have to be passed to make the coil heat to the same extent? That is what is called as DC equivalent of AC current, or the another name being RMS value of alternating current or alternating voltage. The RMS value of alternating current or voltage is been defined as the RMS value of an AC is the equivalent steady DC value which gives the same heating effect at the same rate in a given resistor. So, this is the definition for RMS value of alternating current. What about mathematics? The RMS value, which is V subscript RMS, is mathematically equal to the peak value of current divided by root 2. Further simplify, 1 by root 2 will also give us 0.707, and therefore the other way of writing Vrms is 0.707 into the peak value. As Vrms is also defined as the DC equivalent, Vrms can also be written capital letter V. Generally, in electronics or in physics, capital V and capital I is used to represent DC currents and DC voltages, whereas small letter V and small letter I are used to represent AC voltage and AC current. Therefore, Vrms, which is DC equivalent, can be represented by capital V. The same applies for current. The DC equivalent current, or small I subscript RMS, IRMS, is equal to the maximum value of current divided by root 2. The another way of writing it is 0.707 times of I maximum. These equations give the mathematics of RMS value of alternating voltage and alternating current. Finally, we will see what do we mean by average value of AC. Before we try to understand the average value of AC, we will recall some of the mathematics. So, let me take 3 numbers, for example 4, 6 and 8. If I have to find the average of these 3 numbers, how will I do it? The average is going to be equal to sum of the 3 numbers divided by the number of trials, 3. There are 3 numbers, so divide this by 3. 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 8 is 18. 18 divided by 3, I will get the average as 6. This is how we find average value. What about an AC voltage or AC current? You will have to add all the values of voltage in the positive cycle, all the values of voltage in the negative cycle, and divide by the number of values. Mathematically, V subscript AVG representing V average can be written as sum of all the values V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, from 1 to n values divided by n. If you do this, positive and negative, they get cancelled and we will be getting this as 0. So, in AC or alternating current or in alternating voltage, the average value is defined only for half cycle, either positive or negative, generally the positive cycle, and in this case we find that V average is equal to 2 into V maximum divided by pi. Doing some mathematics, we find that the average value of alternating voltage for 1/2 cycle is equal to 2 by pi times the maximum value. Similarly, the average value of current can be written as 2 by pi times the maximum value of current. After this, now we will look into different types of alternating voltage. What we have studied all the way till now is a sinusoidal alternating current or a sinusoidal alternating voltage. We have other types of alternating current as well. So, let us see what are they. While mentioning alternating current, we have defined that its magnitude and polarity keeps changing. Well, we have different types of alternating current. One that we have studied now is the sinusoidal alternating current. We also have other types. So, let us see what are those other types. Here you have the picture of the different types of waveforms of alternating current. The first being the square wave. All our digital electronics or the computers, calculators, they all work on the basis of square waves. Square waves are very much important in working of these appliances. Next, triangular wave. You see there, the shape of the wave is triangular, where there is linear increase and linear decrease in the value of the current. Linear in the sense a straight increase and a straight decrease. Next, sawtooth wave. So, this is a sawtooth wave where there is a linear increase and sudden decrease to 0. So, it resembles the teeth of a saw that which we use to cut wood. So, this is called as a sawtooth wave. So, these are the different types of alternating waveforms. Finally, in today's session, related to the topic of AC principles, we have learnt what do we mean by alternating current or alternating voltage, where are alternating current or alternating voltage being generated, how alternating current is being produced in an AC generator. We have learnt the different terms related to alternating current and alternating voltage, and finally RMS value, average value and different types of alternating current. That is all for this session.